Oh me, oh my, bingo, baby! What it do, baby? The Los Angeles Clippers, I can't believe I'm saying this, are keeping me up right now. This whole NBA free agency, being someone who lives in Los Angeles, California, who has been to many Lakers and Clippers games throughout the years. Whether it was the Shaq Kobe Lakers, whether it was the Lob City Clippers, whether it was the Elton Brand Clippers, the Corey Maggette Clippers, all these Clippers teams. I remember them. Now, I'm not a Clippers fan. You all know where my loyalty lies, but I got to bust out the Ralph Lawler shirt. Oh, me, oh, my, because oh, me, oh, my is correct. No one saw this coming. Kawhi Leonard being traded to the Los Angeles, well, not being traded, signing with the Los Angeles Clippers, and Paul George demanding a trade and going to the Clippers, as the Clippers gave up a bunch of draft picks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the promising rookie, and Danilo Gallinari for Paul George. So much for that unfinished business in OKC, huh? We ain't going to get that unfinished business. That unfinished business is never going to be finished. And in fact, that unfinished business might be done for OKC. OKC decided we're done. We're done with this. Whatever. The Clippers somehow pitched to Kawhi, because this whole time we were saying, oh, okay, the Lakers, they're going to get Kawhi Leonard. That's why the Lakers were sitting and waiting. That's why they had all this cap space. They had all this 30 million cap space, and everyone was saying, hey, yo, why get Kawhi? Just spread it around. And sooner or later, the Lakers were like, no, we think we could get Kawhi. And here's the thing. I'm just going to be honest here. How many NBA reporters were reporting this Paul George trade? How many people were saying, Kawhi in the Clippers meeting, he said he wanted Paul George at all costs? How many people were hearing these reports? Because there was zero reports that were going on out there. And the only reports that I believed were the ones that I was hearing where it says, hey, if you hear anything about Kawhi Leonard and saying what he wants, don't believe it, because we don't know what Kawhi Leonard wants. And then all of a sudden, we hear this crazy trade of Paul George being traded to the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard said, yep, they got the guy I want to team up with, so I'm going there. That's what happened. It's insane to me. This is like the most craziest thing to happen. And it's for the Clippers out of all teams. Just think about it. If the Lakers would have just landed Paul George last year, they would have Kawhi this year. Yeah, I know you're going to say, oh, well, they wouldn't have AD. But if you just think of the pairing of LeBron James, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, that is a trio that I don't know anyone could stop offensively. Defensively, that would be the best trio you would ever see. But hey, man, now Kawhi Leonard is a Clipper. And he's going to be teamed up with guys like Patrick Beverley, Mo Harkless, Ivica Zubac, Landry Shamet, Lou Will, six-man Montrezl Harrell. And you know what the crazy thing is? Clippers still have some assets to trade to, let's just say in the middle of the season, they just need a bump. They have some assets, man, to trade, and then bam, they could get another good bench player, a good starter. Like Mo Harkless, that's a tradable contract. Like you could trade Mo Harkless for a quality player. Like there's going to be a team that's like, hey, we have this guy. Do you want him? And the Clippers are going to be like, yeah, you want Mo Harkless? Patrick Beverley, as much as he's beloved by the Clipper Nation and a lot of Clipper fans love him and stuff like that, his contract's tradable. Like you can trade Patrick Beverley. Like it's not a big deal if you trade Patrick Beverley. Yeah, it sucked, but it's not like heartbreaking. The Clippers have set themselves up for success with this Kawhi Leonard and Paul George mess that they've done. They've set themselves up for success. This is just an amazing move. And you know what? Everyone's going to say, well, look at the draft picks they gave up. Chase, to me personally, this deal's trash. The draft picks are so important. Here's the thing. This isn't the NFL. I hate to say it to people, but NBA draft picks, I don't really care who's picking them unless I know the organization that well or who's the general manager. Because really, to be honest, NBA draft picks are not as important as NFL draft picks because you got to look at this. The Oklahoma City Thunder, where are they going to be picking? They're still going to be picking in the middle of the draft, especially if they keep Russell Westbrook. Because if they keep Westbrook, Westbrook is going to pretty much lead the team to the playoffs. So you're going to be stuck in the 8th seed, 7th seed with Westbrook averaging triple doubles and stuff. And you're all going to be picking in the middle. And these Clippers picks, they're going to be picked in the late 20s. So their value is going to be very, very minimal. The only draft pick they got is really good is the Miami pick. But here's the thing that people don't understand. Please give me a list of good guys that Sam Presti has drafted. I want to know that are not in the top 5. Give me a list because minus Steven Adams, they all suck. And that's just the bottom line. People act like, oh, well, man, the haul that the Thunder got, the draft picks. Like, look, the only time the draft is going to be good again is 2022 when the high school players can come out of the draft. And that will be interesting in itself to see what the teams are going to do when they have to choose not only first-year college players, but they're also choosing high school studs that they can get right away at the age of 18 and develop on their own. That's why, to me personally, everyone's like, "Oh, well, the Thunder, man, look at the draft picks." It's like with the New Orleans when they gave up AD and the Lakers just gave up all these draft picks, and everyone's like, "Yeah, well, the Lakers just gave up their future." The only bad draft pick the Lakers gave up was the 2024 draft pick. The other draft picks, who cares? And literally, minus looking into the top 5, who in the blue hell has New Orleans drafted? That is worth a damn. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Chase, well, David Griffin now. And again, I don't care who the GM is for the Hornets. Who have they drafted with their draft picks that are worth a damn? I can't name you a player. I really can't. I'm struggling thinking of New Orleans Pelicans draft picks that, like, Etuan Moore. Is he a New Orleans guy? That's what I'm trying to tell you people. But no, everyone just wants to go like, oh, well, draft picks. Look, this isn't the NFL. Stop making the NBA like it's NFL. NFL and NBA are totally 2 different sports when it comes down to, the draft pick currency and how important draft picks are. Draft picks are important for trading in the NBA. That's it. You just tell a team that, hey, we got a draft pick. Do you want it? They're going to take it. They're going to be like, yeah, we'll take a draft pick because they can flip that for anything else. Like that's the thing, man. Not a lot of teams know how to draft. And that's the problem, man. Everyone acts like these draft picks are so damn important. No, you know what's important? Winning. That's important. They want to win. Like no team is sitting here wanting to say, "Oh man, I hope I can save this 2022 draft pick, man." But yeah, man, with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George now going to the Los Angeles Clippers, man, this makes the Clippers, one of the best teams in the West. Like, it's not even close. They are one of the top teams in the Western Conference. I mean, Golden State is still a thing. You can't count them out. They're Golden State for a reason. You still have Draymond Green. Klay Thompson will be coming back later in the year. And heck, for all we know, maybe the D'Lo and Curry backcourt works out. Heck, you could trade D'Lo for a really good player further down the line. It's still good. The Utah Jazz, that's still a really good team. Like, I'm telling you, man, the first Clippers and Jazz game that's on TV, I can't believe I'm saying this, but out of the 2 teams in the world, but the first Clippers and Jazz team game that I see on NBA, I'm turning that shit on and I'm watching it. That's going to be a good game. That's probably the most anticipated game for me, at least next season. Like, I can't think of any other game that's more anticipated because that's going to be a fun game between those 2 teams. I mean, those teams are just both loaded and stacked with really good players because, like the Jazz, I think they signed Mui Day and one other good backup for cheap. The Jazz, man. It's like, oh, that's going to be a good game right there. But yeah, when it comes down to it, man, the Clippers are making moves. Kawhi Leonard did what's best for him. But you know what narrative I'm tired of? I'm tired of the narrative that, oh, the Lakers lost. Like, oh, man, the Lakers lost out big time, man. They didn't land Kawhi Leonard. they still have LeBron and they still have Anthony Davis. How in the blue Jesus did the Lakers lose here? Like, no, I'm being dead serious. How did the Lakers lose? They still have two of the best players in the world on their team. Now, granted, yes, Le GM is making his weird decisions as always, like signing JaVale McGee and KCP and Danny Green to these outrageous contracts. But at the end of the day, they're still the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're still a Le GM team. You all know Le GM is going to get some crazy buyout person to come with him. I'm pretty sure Kyle Korver is going to join the team and everything like that. Heck, for all we know, Boogie right now is not getting any love. He either goes to Washington to be in misery with John Wall, or maybe he comes to the Lakers and reunites with AD and most likely Rajon Rondo at this point. But I feel like LeBron, I don't know, man. LeBron needs to be revoked of his GM powers. He needs to be revoked of his decision making because I don't know. It's like LeBron is one of those guys. If you do something good for him in 1 year, it's like LeBron wants you on your team. It's like he's like, hey man, you need to be on this team forever. I need you on this team. It's like LeBron, you don't need to sign everyone. There's times where you got to say let it go. Like you need to listen to that Frozen song. Like no offense to Danny Green, he's a really good player, really nice 3-and-D dude, but he's not the same Danny Green that he was like 3 or 4 years ago. You know, KCP, you should have seen it. Like LeBron. He signed to your friend Rich Paul's agency. He signed to Clutch. You know what KCP is about. You guys overpaid him last year. You should have sat KCP down and said, hey, look, I'll get you some sponsorships. I might get you a sponsorship by Beats. But hey, you got to sit down, man. You got to take a pay cut because we got to go sign other people. You should have sat KCP down and offered them some BS sponsorship with Fruit Loops or something. Or McDonald's. I don't know. You have some sponsorships, LeBron. You should have offered KCP something because, man, he robbed the Lakers of money this last year, and now he's robbing them of $8 million this year and next. Like Danny Green, 15 mil. That's way too much for Danny Green. 15 mil? Yeah, I get it's from 2 years, and sure, maybe some team will trade for Danny Green. And yes, the Lakers are still going to be a popular buyout market. Like I'm pretty sure Kyle Korver will make his way over there. Maybe some buyout point guard. But really, to be honest, man, the Lakers, they need to make some moves that are quality. At first, I was like, oh, maybe they'll trade for Kevin Love. Like that seemed like a quality move for the Lakers. Trade for Kevin Love. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, Kevin Love. Why? Think about this, man. You get LeBron and AD with Kevin Love. That's a good space stretch four for them, man. LeBron can go back to the natural small forward position. Kuzma can come off the bench. You have a good bench guy and everything. Then just fill the roster out with a bunch of, good role players. But no, instead they're just like, nope, we'll give Danny Green $15 million. Yeah, I don't even think the Toronto Raptors were going to pay Danny Green $15 million. I think that Danny Green's like, all right, Raptors, $15 million. So, yeah, man, when it comes down to it, man, the Lakers, I don't understand why people say they're major losers. That's just me, man. Like to me personally, I just feel like the Lakers, they didn't do a great job. Yeah, the Lakers didn't do the most excellent thing of all time, but I don't think they're complete losers. They're not like the Knicks. Like the Knicks were supposed to be the favorite for KD and Kyrie, and somehow, some way, they screwed that up and they signed 3 power forwards instead. I mean, it's bad when DeAndre Jordan, who acted like he was going to stay there who told the Knicks, no, don't buy me out. I want to stay in New York. Pretty much told KD, nope, don't come here. And went across the street from Brooklyn. You guys play in the Garden, Madison Square Arena, that every time ESPN has a game featuring in New York, we always hear, oh, the Garden. The players love playing there. That's where everyone wants to play is the Garden. We hear this junk all the time, and guess what? No one wants to play there. No one is saying, oh, I want to be in the Garden. That's why people need to understand. That's why people need to stop with this whole narrative that the Knicks are so great and stuff, or the Lakers are the biggest losers for not getting Kawhi. No, they still have AD and LeBron. The Knicks are the biggest losers. They had DeAndre Jordan, who was their Kevin Durant best friend. They had Rich Kleiman, who was a huge New York Knicks fan. They had KD in their pockets, and they had Kyrie in their pockets, and they lost the flipping Nets. The Nets, who at one point in time decided that Gerald Wallace was a good investment and traded for ISO Joe Johnson. The Nets. Come on, man. But yeah, man, when it comes down to it, man, the Los Angeles Lakers, yeah, they didn't do so well in free agency, but I want to call them ultimate losers like the Knicks. The Nets getting KD and Kyrie, that's good. But honestly, if you were to ask me, Chase, what combination you would have more, KD and Kyrie or Kawhi and PG, give me Kawhi and PG any day of the week. And this is not because of KD's injury. I just don't trust Kyrie, man. Kyrie is so weird, man. Like he is just a weird human being. Like I don't know what this guy's thinking. Like sure, maybe like at first KD's like, man, I love Kyrie's game. I can't wait to see how he plays and everything like that. And then sooner or later, Kyrie is going to be talking about some Illuminati stuff. And then KD's going to be like, what the fuck? Why do I want to play with this guy? like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Kyrie is just a weird dude, man. I just don't see how that's going to work out from that perspective. I mean, it's going to be fun when they're on the court together. But if you ask me if there was a combination I would want, it would be Kawhi with PG-13. Like that's just like, you know, Paul George, I've always been a massive fan. You know, there was one player, you know, when LeBron went to the Lakers, there was one player where I was like, you know what? I hope that the Lakers get Paul George. And my friends were like, wow. I'm like, dude, can you imagine LeBron and Paul George together? That's just like the ultimate team right there. Those two will work so well with each other. They just feel like peanut butter and jelly. And now, and obviously Kawhi saw that too, because Kawhi was looking at that and saying, hey, I want to play with Paul George. I want to play with this guy, you know. And hey, look at that now. He's going to play with Paul George. I just think that's a really good pairing. Like if you were to tell me which duo would you guys want more? If you're watching this via playback or via now, would you take LeBron and AD, Kawhi or Paul George, or KD and Kyrie? For me, I would take Kawhi and PG. That's just me. The only setback for Kawhi and PG is the injury history. Like Paul George, he does this every year. He starts off kind of quiet where everyone forgets that, yeah, Paul George is the top 10 player in the league. Then he will just go on this massive tear where everyone's like, yeah, Paul George is really good. You know who people don't talk about? Paul George. You know, you get the talking heads of the NBA saying that. And all of a sudden, Paul George suffers some mysterious injury. And it's just like all of a sudden he's not 100%. And, you know, Kawhi Leonard, there was times, man, if you watch some of the games closely, he just didn't look like himself. Like he looked like his leg was just killing him sometimes. Like he just like he would power through it. But like the first two quarters, I remember when I was watching some of the early quarters for the Raptors versus Warriors games, I was saying to myself, what's wrong with Kawhi? He's not dribbling the ball effectively. He's not being as aggressive. He's like taking his time. It doesn't feel like he's 100%. And then it just seemed like it was taking a while for Kawhi to get himself in the game. So for me, it's just like when I look at that and I see that, it's like, you know, yeah, there's some injury concern there, but you could also say the same thing about, you know, LeBron and AD. You know, LeBron hasn't really suffered any major injuries, minus this year. But, you know, Anthony Davis, the guy seems like he injures his pinky like almost every game. Like there's something wrong with it. Like his toe hurts, his freaking thumb hurts, his rib cage hurts, his chest hurts. Like there's always something with AD, and it's always in the most crucial moments too. And you know, LeBron James, you know, we all know how he is. He's not a patient human being. Like there's one thing about LeBron James that we have learned. You know, he is not a believer in patience as a virtue. It's about now with LeBron James, especially at this point of time in his career. And I cannot imagine AD saying, oh, my pinky hurts, LeBron. I got to go in the locker room and check it out. I can't play this fourth quarter. And, you know, the KD and Kyrie thing, you know, Kyrie, you know, he's had a couple of knee issues and everything like that. Like, that's something that you have to look into. You know, that always comes back and bothers Kyrie every once in a while. And, you know, KD with the Achilles injury, I think KD will be fine because he's more of a pure, you know, jump shooter and everything. I don't think he doesn't rely on his like athleticism as a lot of players. He has just pure basketball skills, Kevin Durant. But, you know, it's still an Achilles injury and stuff. Like, I don't think he's going to be like Gordon Hayward bad, but I think he's going to not start out the best. But, you know, it's Kevin Durant. Like, the way he was playing on his bad calf before he hurt his Achilles, you know, that was some impressive stuff by Kevin Durant. So, I don't know. Which duo would you all take? And like I said, I'll take Kawhi and PG. You know, there is some injury concerns there. Now the main question is, what's next for Russell Westbrook too? Like, will the Thunder trade Russell Westbrook? Because honestly, if there was a report that the Thunder stars were disgruntled. I don't know if like it was like they were disgruntled with each other. It didn't seem like it. It seems like they have a good rapport. But if you're Russell Westbrook at this point in time, you got to be asking for a trade. You got to be saying, no, I'm done with this team, man. Because like let's just be real here. The Thunder need to do something with Russell Westbrook. You just can't keep this guy on the team for much longer. There's no way you're sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, man, let's justify keeping Russell Westbrook on this team." Why? So Westbrook can play with a bunch of young players you're not going to keep. So that way you can just trade those young assets or overpay for them anyways and be in cap hell forever. Like for real, man. Like the Thunder are becoming one of the most saddest dynasty or saddest what ifs ever in the NBA. And I hate to say that to you, Thunder fans. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, what an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's true, man. Y'all have three of, the top 10 players in the league at one point in time on your roster said, no, we ain't paying no luxury tax. Traded one away for Jeremy Lamb or some guy that's on Indiana now. And Royce White, who's afraid of airplanes and stuff. And then KD just walks from you. I mean, I think it's time you guys trade Russell Westbrook. To who? I don't know. There's plenty of teams with a player that you could probably take, and someone that would take Russell Westbrook. Okay? Minnesota, Andrew Wiggins. So, yeah. Which team should he draft to? I think he can do well with the Warriors. I don't know who the Warriors would trade for Westbrook. They might have to trade Curry. I don't think they're going to trade Curry. Curry's like a cult icon and hero in Warriors land. You're not trading him for Russell Westbrook. You kidding me? You want San Francisco to burn you down? That'd be kind of funny, though. Yeah, but because I don't know, man. I think OKC, it's time for them to blow it up. I think it's time for them to just go on a full rebuild. I feel like you can get some good draft picks for Russell Westbrook. And I just think it's time for you guys, for the Thunder to tank. What do you guys think about the Thunder tanking? I think the Thunder should just tank, man. They just need to tank. There's nothing else for them to do. This unfinished business. That's going to be like the meme that we talk about with the Thunders for so many years, where it was Westbrook and Paul George, and Paul George is like, I'm coming back for some unfinished business. Like, seriously, unfinished business, man. Who would have thought that it would have been Los Angeles Clippers, though? I remember a year ago, I was looking on my phone when it was LeBron, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard graphics and Lakers jerseys. And yeah, sure, LeBron and AD is cool. But man, dude, LeBron, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. What a big three that would have been. I mean, I feel like Laker fans, if you ask them, they would take LeBron, Kawhi, and PG over LeBron, AD, and Kuzma. Because to me, Kuzma's like a bench player. He's fun to watch, don't get me wrong. But I feel like Kuzma's not really like a starter. He's like a bench player. Like he's a good bench player, a good six-man. Someone that you need on the team for six-man purposes, but like as a starter, nah, man. I would find another power forward. Like, I bet you the Lakers were pissed when the Nuggets didn't let go of Paul Millsap. Oh, they would have signed Paul Millsap. Easy. Millsap on that team? Oh, that would have been balling right there. Old man still goes, man. He would have been fun. Have the Lakers signed anyone else? I'm trying to figure out who the Lakers, if they sign anyone else that's worth a damn. How will Zion do next season? Seems like the media thinks he can compete with LeBron, Kawhi, PG, and Giannis. Oh, Jesus. That's insane. Zion will do well. He's obviously Rookie of the Year favorite for most people. I still think some other players will kind of beat him out for Rookie of the Year. You got Kobe White, who most likely will shot Jack with Zach LaVine in Chicago. Another good candidate for Rookie of the Year is RJ Barrett from New York. I feel like he has a great potential of being Rookie of the Year, especially being in the New York, much bigger media market than the New Orleans. No offense, it just is. And then when it comes down to it with New York, you know they're going to get more attention if RJ has like a good string of games. It could get more looked at than Zion and New Orleans, and especially maybe Zion, has like maybe one weird freak injury, or maybe Zion just isn't playing up to snuff, or there's games where let's just say, for example, there's games where Zion is doing well, but his team isn't so well, or maybe Zion doesn't get as much touches because, there's more veterans on his team because, you have yourself Drew Holiday. They signed another really good veteran as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know he's going to take touches away from Zion Williamson. Lonzo's there, Brandon Ingram's there. I just feel like, Zion Williamson, there's not going to be like, he's not going to get the touches that we think he should get. Like, he'll still do well, but I feel like RJ Barrett could shot jack more, and plus he's in New York, so that helps him. I wouldn't be surprised either if DeAndre Hunter is a good sneaky. Like, if you guys see the odds on DeAndre Hunter, I would just throw a C note on him in the bets, man. Just say, DeAndre Hunter, that could be a good pick. He's going to play in Atlanta. Atlanta has a chance to make the Eastern Conference playoffs. I feel like he could be, like the third or fourth primary scorer for the Atlanta Hawks because it's Trae Young and it's John Collins. And then after that, it's who knows. Is it Kevin Huerter? Is he the third scorer? Is it DeAndre Hunter? Is it Cam Reddish? Is it, I don't even know who their center is, Alex Len? Like, I feel like DeAndre Hunter could slide right in and he can have those games like he did for Virginia where he just comes in out of nowhere and everyone's like, wait, what? DeAndre Hunter? This guy? Oh my God. That's a guy that I just look at and I just say, man, dude, like that dude is a sneaky guy. I agree. Chase Thunder should rebuild. Oklahoma City Thunder, the biggest dynasty that never was. Oh, I know, dude. I'm pretty sure, man. Even to this day, like people still do it, dude. Like you see these NBA 2K content creators. They always do the NBA what ifs and everything. And the biggest what if they always do is the Thunder Big Three. And now it's going to still be a big what if, man. What if this? What if that? And stuff like that. Do you think Drake will start supporting the Clippers next? I mean, Toronto's MVP is no longer Toronto. No, he's going to be a loyal Raptors fan. I'm pretty sure. The Raptors are due for like a dumb lottery win. They're due for winning the lottery. But then again, they traded their pick to the Spurs. So really, to be honest, the Spurs really won that. Well, no, the Raptors won the trade because they won a championship. That's all that matters at the end of the day is winning a championship. But the Spurs won the aftermath for sure because they're for sure knowing Kawhi was leaving them no matter what. They traded Kawhi. They got a quality player in DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl, a nice young talent that they can use, and as well got a draft pick from Toronto. And it seems like that's another thing too. The fact that Kawhi left for the Clippers, how good is Pascal Siakam? Because I like Pascal, I really do, but it's like Kawhi Leonard. He's a really good player. And I get it, man. I understand. He decided, hey, I want to go and team up with Paul George. But the Raptors had a guy in Pascal Siakam that everyone tells me has so much untapped potential and can be such a star for the NBA, like such a young star. Like we heard, how many times were you watching the NBA Finals and the commentators like, oh, the young star Pascal Siakam. Oh, he's so good and everything like that. Like, everyone was talking about that. Everyone was just saying, oh, Pascal Siakam. And Kawhi Leonard, he must have said enough for Pascal Siakam just to say, you know what? This is always going to be. Because let's just be real. If Kawhi would have re-signed with Toronto, the guy would have just been like, oh, okay, I re-signed with Toronto. And guess what? My best teammate for the many years I'm with Toronto is going to be Pascal Siakam. Because Lowry's going to be gone soon. Fred VanVleet is a free agent next year, and you all know he's going to get paid no matter what he does. Ibaka's gone. Marc Gasol's gone. The Raptors, when it comes down to young, young, and I'm not going to try to be fancy with my words. With the young talent the Raptors have, it's just OG Anunoby. That's like the only guy where it's like, oh yeah, he could be something. And even then, we don't know what OG Anunoby is going to be. So when it comes down to it, Kawhi was looking at it from the future perspective. He was looking at it and he said, I can sign with the Raptors, but my best teammate will be Pascal Siakam. So how good is Pascal Siakam? Kawhi Leonard said, nah, screw that, fam. I'm going to the Clippers, and I'm asking for Paul George. If you're an Indiana Pacer fan, how upset are you? Think about it, man. Remember, the Pacers drafted Paul George, and they drafted Kawhi Leonard. Well, the Spurs technically drafted Kawhi Leonard because the Pacers wanted George Hill, and they traded the draft rights of Kawhi Leonard. But think about that, man. The Pacers could have had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard at this moment in time. Like that could be their team right now. They could have two of these great defensive talented men great 3-and-D players, great two-way players with their teams. But instead, I like Oladipo. I'm a big Oladipo guy. But they have Oladipo, and we don't know how he's going to come back from injury. And then as well, they signed Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb. Who else did the Pacers sign? That's a bummer thing for the Pacers too. They had this cap space as well. They had enough cap space to sign max players, but instead they just went the role player route for Oladipo. If I was the Pacers, I would have just undercut it from Chris Middleton. I would have told the Bucks no. I would have asked for Chris Middleton. I don't know. That's just me. I feel like Oladipo and Middleton, that would have been fun. But yeah, man, this news about Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, it's just earth shattering. Like I just couldn't believe it. It's like 1:08. Like seriously, it's like 1:08 in the morning. I'm over here doing a freaking YouTube video. Oh, just crazy. Do you think Kristaps resigning with the Mavs is a bad idea? No, it's not. It's a guy Luka wants to play with. If Luka wants to play with him, you resign him. Kristaps is a tremendous young player. He just needs to be healthy. That's the problem with Kristaps Porzingis is his knee issues. But other than that, if Luka Doncic, you got to keep your star player happy. That's just the bottom line. And then also, too, the Mavericks are in the best situation. They're in what we like to call now the new wave of the rookie deal. The rookie deal is like the one thing teams take advantage of in every sport, and especially mostly in the NBA and the NFL. If you have a player on the rookie deal, you try to, and especially a guy like Luka Doncic, who is going to do really, really well for you for many years to come, because you're going to have him for his first 4 years, and then you're guaranteed another 4 years. So you're guaranteed 8 years of Luka Doncic. You want to make sure in those 8 years you're building a team around him, and you're building a winning culture, and you're building something that can hopefully win a championship. That's why with the Pelicans, they have 8 years with Zion Williamson. They have 8 years with the guy. And they need to find a way to maximize out of those 8 years. So no, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Luka wants to play with Kristaps Porzingis. He's excited to play with Kristaps Porzingis. You got to do it. You got to pay for the guy that your star wants to play with. You can't be upset where it's like, oh man, they signed Kristaps, and if Kristaps ends up becoming injured all the time, it's like whatever. I thought Stephen A's reaction was hilarious, especially when he was like crying on the window, and Molly had to give him a hug, and he was all happy. He was like, "Thank you for the hug." Or when that one caller called and saying that Carmelo's still a free agent, he's like, "Go to hell!" Like he just told that one guy to go to hell. So funny. Does Dwight Howard even have a chance to redeem himself? It's crazy. Just think about this. Years ago, back in like 2011, it was like the debate. Who would you build your team around, LeBron James or Dwight Howard? And that was a legit debate. This people are going to sit there like, no, that was no. Before Kevin Durant became Kevin Durant, before Kawhi Leonard was a Kawhi Leonard, before Paul George was a Paul George, before there was any other players in the NBA that everyone was talking about, the major debate by most sports talk people were like, oh, who would you take in the NBA today, LeBron James or Dwight Howard? And at the time, they were very similar. Granted, yes, LeBron James was on the big three Heat, with Dwayne Wade kind of dwindling from his prime and Chris Bosh kind of being misused a little bit. But people were saying, like, hey, they're very similar in their careers, been to NBA Finals, carried a team to the NBA Finals. LeBron with the Cavs, Dwight with the Magic, pretty much. Dwight Howard's a defensive beast. LeBron's a good defensive player too, but Dwight Howard was a beast back then. And you know what's funny too? You see those glimpses. Like there's like always that one time where like when Dwight was on the Hawks, I watch a random Hawks game and I saw that glimpse of like, oh wow, Dwight Howard is still really good. And then there's times where you're like, oh wow, Dwight Howard is just really bad. Same with the Hornets. I was like, wow, Dwight Howard is still really good. And then there was times where he was really bad. And I don't know if it's just his attitude. I don't know if it's just his hustle, but ever since the Rockets, man, or, the Lakers, ever since the Dwight Mayer with the Los Angeles Lakers, just nothing has sat right with Dwight Howard. It was just something about that where it's just like everything changed with the man. And it's kind of sad. And I'll admit, I was a huge Dwight Howard fan, man. Like, dude, Dwight Howard was like one of my favorite players in the NBA. I will not deny that, dude. Like when I was like, here's the thing. When I was growing up as a kid, KG is my favorite player of all time. I've always I had a theme for big guys and power forwards and centers, and stuff like that. KG's my guy. KG's my favorite player of all time. And then it went like Shaq, KG, Kobe. Kobe's one of my favorite players to watch and one of my favorite players in general. And then like, there's other guards and wings that I like too. Like T-Mac was a guard that I like, and Gilbert Arenas was a guard that I like. But Dwight Howard and LeBron, when I was a kid, because keep in mind, like 2003 when LeBron was drafted and everything, like I was starting to understand basketball more. When I'm a little kid and I'm watching the Timberwolves play and the Lakers play when they're winning their 3 championships and stuff, I'm not like understanding basketball that much. I'm just like watching the game because it's like fun to watch. Like I'm not like, oh yeah, I know this and everything like that. So it's just like, I'm just when I'm in my the mid 2000s, that's when I'm digesting basketball a little bit better. So when I see LeBron James, man, I fell in love. When I see Dwight Howard, man, I fell in love. And I will not deny it. There was a point in time Dwight Howard was my favorite NBA player. Like it was just like, the Timberwolves were bad, and I had like Rashad McCants and Randy Foye and KG on my team doing nothing. It was a dark time. And it was just like, LeBron, I was cheering for him, and I became a player fan for the most part. Dwight Howard, I was cheering for him. Like Dwight was one of my favorite players ever, man. Like I just won't deny it. He was just so fun to watch. He was just a defensive beast. He was like if Shaq had just like super uber athleticism. Shaq was just a freak of nature, but the athleticism that Dwight had was just so incredible. And keep in mind, I was born in 1993. So Jordan stuff, I've only seen clips, and I've watched a lot of games of Jordan and everything. I will always say, from what I've seen in the past and stuff, and from what I've watched, yes, Jordan's a GOAT. But keep in mind, when I'm a little kid and stuff like that, and I just see like what I've seen before with the what's it called, in the mid 2000s, Dwight's one of my favorite players. I won't deny that. Y'all can hate on me for that, but that's how I felt back in the day. That's how I felt. And so it's kind of a bummer when I see one of the guys that I used to love watching, and now the guy just kind of it stinks. Do you think Andrew Wiggins is kind of a bust? No, he is kind of a bust. Like, and it's kind of sad too. There was so much hope for Andrew Wiggins, Maple Jordan. I always remember that game where he had it against the Cavs. It was his revenge game. And that was a game, like, when Wiggins was a rookie, the one game that I was like, what will sell me on this guy as a rookie is how he plays against the Cavs. And he had that one play where he stripped Kevin Love of the ball and then dunked on him and shit. Then I was like, all right, man, Andrew Wiggins is going to be a baller. And here's the thing. Wiggins has to deal with some coaching changes. I feel like I feel like Sam Mitchell started the weird process of Wiggins because he told Wiggins, hey, don't work on your jumper. Just go to the lane all the time. And then for whatever reason, there was more play calls for Zach LaVine instead of Andrew Wiggins, which made no sense to me. Why the heck are we giving Zach LaVine so much power with the ball? And then when Thibodeau came in, it was like Wiggins, Thibodeau looked at him and was like, You're just like Lou Deng. We're going to use you like Lou Deng. And so Wiggins became some spot up 3-and-D player, which he isn't. And it was just like Wiggins' skill set has just been diminished. And, I feel like, Wiggins, the energy level, yes, it's not there. Sometimes Andrew Wiggins can upset me and annoy me. But I feel like there's still potential there. And I still feel like Wiggins can become a really good player in this league. And I feel like if the Timberwolves let him go for someone that is like not like a all-star level guy, it would just be like, we let go of a guy with all this potential for nothing. And then I can see it now where Andrew Wiggins flourishes and becomes a really great player, and it's not on the Timberwolves. And then it becomes a question, what is going on in Minnesota? How come they can't build stars correctly? Because let's be real, Karl Anthony Towns, he's a really good player. He's a star, but he just has that potential. That's just him. He's just gifted with that. It's not like the Timberwolves developed him into being that player. So that's the thing, man. As a Timberwolves fan, I understand that. I accept that. I just sit there and I understand. But for me, it's just like look, I'll admit he's kind of a bust. I'm not gonna deny that shit. There's times where I get frustrated with Andrew Wiggins, but he's one of my favorite players. And I always go back to it when I say he's only 24. Steph Curry became Steph Curry when? He was drafted in 09. He became Steph Curry in 2014. 5 or 6 years is always the mark for me when it comes for an NBA player, and I always believe that. But anyways, guys, it's getting late. Thank you guys for coming in for this late live stream of the NBA free agency. UFC stream maybe later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Thank you all so much. Have yourself a good one.